everything. Good. Good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, November 27, 2019, and I gotta go to work for the day. Oh, bother. Grant's going over by his mommy's, but no school. No school all week for Grant, so that's nice. I'm gonna go straight. We'll see what they say. We had a great couple days. Last night, Nikki came over and we made a gingerbread. It wasn't a house. It was a special train, and it had 3 cars. It was perfect because there was 3 of us, so we each made our own train car. Grant was the engine, Nikki was the caboose, and I was the middle one. And it worked out well. It seemed like it was a lot harder than the house, I thought. Then we watched some Animaniacs. But yesterday, Grant and I got lucky. It was supposed to rain. I thought it was supposed to rain all day yesterday, but it didn't rain until maybe 2:30 or so. And we ended up we got to play, we did all the outdoor Christmas decorations, and it wasn't it was Grant and Grandpa worked on that. We got all the lights in, and then we did some basketball, we did some baseball, we played catch, and then we played soccer, and then we actually played baseball with the bases and pitching and running and hitting and everything. So we got quite a bit of playtime outside before the rain came, so that was nice. But time to head to work. Alright, so I'm a bit of an idiot. I needed groceries, and I was like, when should I set these to go get them? I'm like, well, I know I gotta go drop Grant off Wednesday morning to his mom. I'm like, I'll just pick him up after I drop him off, and then, go back home and be fun. I totally forgot that I'm working Wednesday this week. So that's kind of throws a little wrench in the works. I need to go get some groceries, drop them off at the house, and then head back out and go to actual work for the day. But it is what it is, whatever. I just dropped them off, man, and their yard is destroyed. They have very, very mature trees, and they don't pick up any yard waste at all, man. It's bad. That was my thing. I hated playing in the snow when there was a base of leaves underneath the snow. It's just nasty. Ugh, sick. Yeah, so I got a little bit of skedoodling around to do this morning. Got some dirt or something on my glasses. I hate that. I still gotta do some grocery shopping, or not grocery, Christmas shopping, to kind of figure out some more ideas and stuff. I got a few things for Grant, a couple things for Nikki. I don't know what else I need to do, but I'm gonna have to figure it out. 2 days ago, I booted up the virtual server, loaded up Windows XP again, and flashed 2 more P20s, so that was kind of cool. Worked well. I also booted up or loaded up or built a pfSense image or server, and that is really cool, man. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to implement that into my network design or whatnot. I think it would be best to use pfSense as the firewall. I guess I need to figure out the best way to go about doing that. So I think I'm starting to understand why Luke doesn't really have a router. So his WAN connection comes into his switches, goes from his switches, pipes directly over to his PF sense, or not his PF sense, his firewall, and then back to his switches. So I think when he comes into his switches first, it's just almost like a pass-through from the switches right to the firewall. The firewall does all the processing, intrusion detection, firewall policies, VPN, natting, whatever, and probably routing, to be honest. And then after that, it shoots it back to the switches and the appropriate what do you want to call them? The VLANs are tagged on each port or whatever, and then it goes from there. So he's basically, instead of using, Cisco to handle his, I think, what is it called, layer 3? He's doing Cisco only at the layer 2, and then using other stuff for the firewall portion. So kind of interesting, but I can see why he's doing it. It's a lot easier to not be all Cisco, but he says he does Cisco, all Cisco at his work. So I don't know. I gotta start thinking about that. So stay tuned for more. All right, and just like that, I'm getting out of work for the day. It's crazy how these jump cuts go, right? So quick update. I spent all day today playing with a Cisco access point and trying to get it up and running. If you guys recall, anyone that's been watching these videos, I played with one a while ago, maybe almost a month ago, and so why would it take so long to do it again? Well, the first one that I did, I learned how to flash the firmware on it to convert it from a what was it called? Convert it from a light access point. These are I think these are model number 1130s. They're older access points. But I converted them in the past from a light model, which requires a wireless LAN controller, to an autonomous model, which can basically run and do everything all on its own without requiring WLC. So when I did it last time, it worked, and I've still been using it. I've been using it for, well, since I did that, so maybe a month. And works great, whatever. But what I wanted to do was add an access point to my new network. So my old network was more of a flat network with no VLANs, and everything was essentially on the same subnet or whatnot. And it works. It's nice and all that, but I wanted I kind of wanted to learn a little bit about VLANs and all that sort of stuff. So my new network has a router that's connected to 2 switches. Both switches are on the same subnet, but they're Cisco switches. There's 3750 PoE switches, and each one of those switches, or both of those switches, or my new network has 3 subnets. One for servers, one for users, and one for cameras. So I wanted to figure out if there was a way to set up an access point that would allow me to log into each or any of those VLANs or smaller networks. So that's what I did today. I spent literally all day today configuring an access point so that I could plug it into one of my switches, and it would it broadcasts 3 different SSIDs, one for each VLAN, and I got it working. Mainly what I do is when I connect to any one of those 3 access points, it's one access point, but SSIDs, whatever, beacons, whatever, when I connect to any one of those 3, I get dished out an IP that corresponds to that subnet, the proper subnet, and currently I can get to the internet while connected to them, and I can ping across them or whatever. So I have no firewall rules set up yet. So that's going to be one of the things that I'll have to start implementing and playing with in the future here. So like, yeah, it's just going to be a thing. So I have not touched firewall rules or anything like that yet. But I got it working, and it took all fucking day because I, programmed in what it said to do, and it wasn't working right. So then I had to like kind of troubleshoot it, and then I made some changes from what they suggested, and so I kind of had to revert or undo those changes. And then I realized like, oh hey, the native VLAN on the trunk port on the switch that I'm plugging into is not correct. So once I fixed that, the uplink worked to the access point, and then everything else went from there. So pretty cool stuff. I do want to add one more, at least one more access point. So what I'm gonna do is I brought one home, and provided that it is good or the firmware is good or whatever, I'm going to, what I did was when I configured the access point today that I spent all day, was I backed up the configuration. So, and it's just like a text file. So I can open up that text file and change the parameters and all that for this new one, and I hope do like a restore from that file and get it up and running. Now, will it work or whatever? I don't know. We're gonna have to kind of figure that one out. But yeah, so it's exciting, except when it doesn't work, right? I mean, the Cisco way of doing things is still not very intuitive to me. It's making more and more sense the more I do, the more I play with it and all that. But I'm kind of excited. It's another step. I'm literally trying to build out the network first, and then I'll be able to do the server side and all that stuff. So I still have yet to learn how to build a domain controller and all that sort of stuff that I've been talking about. For a firewall, I'll probably do some sort of a setup with pfSense, so I can kind of play and learn with that. But that's going to come a little bit later once I get the virtual host and all that up and running and stuff, because I think I'm just going to do it virtually. So I got a little bit of homework. I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to try to configure the other access point at home, and that way I can just bring it to work, plug it in, and hopefully it works. I'm going to upgrade my virtual host. I got some more memory for it. I believe should work. So I have that. What else do I got? And then I wanna do like a network drawing for my work setup, because it just helps to visualize stuff. And then like once you kind of have a visual diagram or representation of it, you can kind of see like some weird stuff or change it or whatever. So that's just a thought that I have. So trying to think what else. Yeah, this is definitely slow going. I thought I'd be able to get all this sorted out and figured out a lot quicker than I have, but I've just been busy at work and stuff, so just kind of kicking the can, working on it a little bit each day and stuff, and it's going well. I'm just there's a lot to it, I suppose, but I'm kind of excited that ultimately I'll have 2 Cisco switches, 2 Cisco access points, and that should do. Oh, so the switches are PoE, and I haven't played with that yet. So the Cisco access points support 48 volt PoE, and I tried it out today, and you literally just plug it in, and away it goes. It just works. So I did that, and I think that's amazing technology, just to be able to plug in something to a switch and then no power cables or anything. Like, that's how they do cameras. That's how they do phones, IP-based phones, voice over IP. All kinds of stuff that supports PoE. So that's where I'm at. So eventually I want to get some cheap PoE cameras, mount them, test them out, just kind of play with it, you know. I think there's even maybe possibly PoE like security sensors or something like that. So that might be kind of cool. I know it's not very efficient, but you know, it is. It's just one of those things where started watching another Studio Ghibli film. I don't know. I can't remember the name. It's called like Crimson Pig, but it's a little bit of a different name. But it was about like a World War I fighter pilot that would fight in the skies against pirates trying to, you know, sink ships and steal bounty from ships and stuff. Seems pretty good. It's kind of a weirder movie, but you know, not bad. It's decent. There's a couple that I'm skipping that seem like very, very adult and just like blah, like boring. Maybe one day I'll go back and rewatch those or something, or watch them. But trying to decide if I want to go home and take a nap or just go to bed early. So we'll see. But I don't have much else to report. I was talking to one of my coworkers. He's really excited about the Cybertruck as well. He's thinking about registering to get one. I told him, might as well, dude. It's only $100, and you can always get it back. You can get it refunded. So yeah. Yeah, so I don't have much else, but it was just kind of a nerdy day, but I like learning new things and figuring stuff out and working through problems. So that's all I got. Stay tuned for more.